And a new move from President Donald Trump could change how you grow your retirement savings. An executive order would let 401k investors put money into riskier options like private equity or cryptocurrency.
A new executive order by President Trump opens the door for millions of Americans saving for retirement through a 401k who may soon be able to invest in high-risk assets like private equity or cryptocurrency.
Well, what this act could do, if it actually comes to be, is it could open up trillions of those dollars that are currently off limits to private equity, and all they have to do is get the Trump administration to go along with it.
So this executive order will allow 401k investors to access alternative assets, including cryptocurrencies, private equity, and real estate. This is just the president's latest move towards embracing digital assets, and it would be a big boost to the sector.
Okay, so as I'm recording this, it is August 8th, 2025, and we have some big news for anybody who is saving for retirement, particularly with 401k plans. As of yesterday, President Trump signed an executive order opening the door for 401ks being allowed to invest in alternative investments like private equity and cryptocurrencies. This is massive news. I can't tell you how big this news is. Okay, listen, I am baffled by how many people out there are still not participating at all in the crypto space. They're not doing any kind of investments. This is the wave of the future, people. And if you don't have exposure to cryptocurrencies, even just the brand name ones like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP, you are missing out. So welcome back. My name is Ed Anderson. I am the host, moderator, and all-around nice guy of the Hey Ed YouTube channel. Please like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Yeah, so the executive order that we're talking about is a very big game changer in the crypto space. When you consider the amount of money that is in the retirement asset pool, we're talking about potentially trillions of dollars going into the crypto space. And most of it is going to go toward the stalwarts like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. And yesterday on this news, we had a very impressive rally in the crypto space. Let's take a quick look at how the cryptos reacted to this news. All right, so let's start by taking a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin, as of this recording, is trading at 116,000 and change. Okay, so this is the action on Bitcoin over the last 24 hours. And if you look to the left here, you can see where we had the really big pop on that news. Prior to that news, it was trading a little under 116,000. Okay, so it had that big pop and now it's settled down again. But bear with me here because I got a larger point to make about this news. But let's go back and take a look at XRP. XRP had a much more dramatic in terms of percentage moves, on this news. Prior to the news, it was trading at $3 and around 6 or 7 cents. And as of right now, it's trading at $3.28. Percentage-wise, that's a pretty dramatic move. Okay, so under this executive order, the Department of Labor is directed to revisit the guidance on what constitutes, investments that are allowable in retirement funds. And the focus is going to be on private equity, opportunities and cryptocurrencies. Now, before now, 401ks were limited to, stocks, bonds, and, cash equivalents. Now, the devil is going to be in the details with this. And so this is not, set to roll out, immediately. But over the next, probably 5 or 6 months, start looking for your 401k plans to offer, exposure to the crypto space. Now, I know that most people in 401k plans, they don't really pay attention. Every month, a certain amount of their paycheck goes into their 401k, and it's allocated, by their 401k, administrators to distribute it between whatever, choices you have. What most people do is early on in setting up their 401k, they say, okay, I want X amount to go toward bonds and I want X amount to go toward stocks or whatever. And then they just kind of set it on automatic. And then the plan administrator just, funnels your money into those products, automatically. Some 401k plan administrators really don't, they rule kind of an iron fist. It is what it is. And they make it difficult for you to make changes to your 401k. But a lot of you are going to have more flexibility where you're going to say, yeah, I want it being put in this. And at some point, one of the options you're going to have is going to be, Bitcoin or Ethereum or XRP or private equity stuff. Okay, so there are two takeaways that I want you to have from this video, okay? The first one is that, you do want to have exposure to Bitcoin as a retirement vehicle. I mean, Bitcoin, in my opinion, should be treated by most people as an investment, as a long-term play. You just put your money into it and you kind of let it grow. That's true for Ethereum and XRP too, for that matter. Let these be retirement vehicles and don't worry about trading, the short-term movements. Look for the big growth in those products over the next, 10, 20 years. That's where the really big, life-changing amount of money is going to be made. And the second takeaway I want you to have is that, this is going to have an enormous, boost to the crypto space in general. Now, the crypto space is going to be dominated by headline news, okay? That's where you get the spurts, okay? Cryptos don't move in a straight line. They don't move consistently. They move in terms of spurts. And those spurts in movements are created by, headline news. And unlike the previous administration, the Trump administration is providing a steady stream of really good headline news relating to crypto. Now, I want you to keep in mind that Wall Street is a discounting mechanism. What I mean by that is they look down the road about where their investment is going to go. Not where it is right now, but where they're going to go. So these headline news coming out of the Trump administration, in aggregate, they are shifting the attitude toward the crypto space. And Wall Street, and the investment field, in general, is all psychological, right? It's all about anticipation. And in just, like a half a year since Trump has been in office, there's been a 180-degree shift in the attitude toward cryptos by the investment community, thanks to the Trump administration. Okay, listen, whether you're a Trump supporter or not, you have to be aware that this new environment for cryptos is positive. Now, there are no guarantees in this space, just like any other space, but the overall attitude toward cryptos as a legitimate investment idea has changed. Now, we've already seen a long string of crypto-related headline news that's been buoying the crypto space, so far this year. And we're going to see a lot more for the next 6 months to a year. There's a long list of potentially game-changing announcements inside the crypto space. And all of these pieces of news are going to have a cumulative effect on the growth of these cryptos, on the movement in these cryptos. Now, there are a lot of details that I'm tempted to dive into on this topic, but I know you YouTube audience, you guys don't like to hang out very long. So I'm going to keep this short and pithy. Just know that the news that came out yesterday about 401ks being allowed to invest in alternative investments like cryptos is a very big boon to the crypto space, at least from a psychological point of view. Because remember, Bitcoin has a limited supply. There's value in scarcity. There's only going to be 21 million Bitcoin ever in existence. Actually, it's quite a bit less than that because a lot of Bitcoin cryptos have been lost. Literally, people have bought Bitcoin and put them on wallets, and those wallets have been lost, in the washing machine or whatever. So a lot of them are already off the table. And as these 401k plans now start, acquiring, trillions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, they buy them and they lock them up and they hold on to them. So Bitcoin has to go up in value. It has to. It's simple supply and demand, right? So, whether it's Bitcoin or Ethereum or XRP, find, the brand name cryptos, the first tier and the second tier cryptos, and start, building positions in them for the longer term, whether it's inside your retirement funds or whether it's in your own, personal wallets. And in the meantime, remember the mantra on this channel, right? Reduce your exposure to your bank, acquire some gold and silver, and establish streams of passive recurring income. Please like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, leave a comment. Ed Anderson, live from Minnesota, signing out.
Copy that.